When it comes to modern-day hip-hop, Lil Durk has to be at the top of the list, a notable artist. His name has become synonymous with Chicago drill music, and his story is one of both musical trump and constant brushes with the law. To understand how Durk became one of the most talked about artists of this generation, you have to look at where he came from, what shaped him, and the long trail of legal troubles that have followed him throughout his career. Durk Derrick Banks, better known as Lil Durk, was born on October 19, 1992 in Chicago, Illinois. He grew up in the Englewood neighborhood on the south side, one of the most dangerous and poverty-stricken areas in the city. His father, Dante Banks, was incarcerated when Durk was just 7 months old, leaving his mother to raise him and his siblings largely on her own. Durk has spoken out about how food was scarce at times and how he often had to fend for himself in the streets at an early age. By the time he was in his early teens, he was already deeply exposed to the gang culture that defined much of Englewood. Unlike some kids who held down part-time jobs, Durk's survival came from hustling in the streets, which would later fuel both his music and his legal problems. Durk's entry into rap wasn't planned as a career at first. He began uploading tracks to platforms like MySpace and YouTube in the late 2000s. Experimenting with beats and flows, what really pushed him into taking rap seriously was the rise of Chicago's drill scene. Led by artists like Chief Keef, Durk saw rap as a way out of the cycle of poverty and violence. His early mixtapes, especially I'm a Hitter in 2011, started to gain him attention locally, but it was his 2012 single, L's Anthem, that really put him on the map, especially after a remix featuring French Montana. That momentum carried into his sign to the Streets mixtape series, which became a defining moment for his career and eventually landed him a deal with Def Jam. But while his music career was taking off, Durk's criminal history was already building. His first major arrest came in 2011 when he was charged with a weapons offense after being caught with a gun. He served a short stint in jail but was released on bond. In 2013, he was arrested again on another gun charge after police allegedly saw him tossing a loaded .40 caliber handgun into his car. He was held in jail for several weeks before being released, and those charges were eventually dropped. These early arrests cemented his reputation as both a rapper and a figure tied to Chicago's gangs conflicts. In 2019, Durk faced one of the most serious cases at the time. He and fellow rapper King Von were arrested in Atlanta and charged with attempted murder, armed robbery, and aggravated assault in connection with a shooting outside of a restaurant. Prosecutors alleged that Durk and Von shot a man and stole his Jeep and $30,000 in cash. Durk turned himself in and spent weeks in jail before being released on bond. The case dragged on for years, but in 2022, prosecutors dropped the charges due to lack of evidence, a major relief for Durk as his career was reaching new heights. However, his most recent legal troubles have been the most severe. In October 2024, Durk was arrested on federal charges for allegedly orchestrating a murder-for-hire plot, targeting fellow rapper Quando Rondo. Prosecutors claimed the plot was retaliation for the 2020 killing of King Von, who was signed to Durk's Only the Family label. According to the indictment, Durk would arrange for associates to travel from Chicago to LA in August 2022 to track and kill Rondo. The attempt failed to kill Rondo, but resulted in the death of his cousin, Lil Pab, who was shot near the Beverly Center in Los Angeles. Federal authorities charged Durk with conspiracy to commit murder for hire, and he has been incarcerated since October 2024, awaiting trial. Prosecutors have even requested an anonymous jury due to concerns about intimidation and threats allegedly tied to Durk's supporters. Today, Lil Durk sits in federal custody, facing the most serious charges of his life. His story is one of contradiction, a rapper who rose from the harshest conditions of Chicago to becoming a Grammy-winning artist, yet who has never been able to fully escape the violence and criminal allegations that have shadowed him since childhood. Whether he is remembered as a cautionary tale or a survivor who overcame it all will depend on the outcome of his current trial. But one thing is certain, Lil Durk's name will remain etched in the history of hip-hop, both for his music and the controversies that define his journey.